You know, when we go into this hip hop thing and doing it back in the early '90s, the game it seemed like the '90s was like yesterday, but the game has changed so much, and it got so many different layers, and the people you thought was gonna make it, whose careers just fizzled, and you're like, what happened? Like, we thought this guy was gonna be the new one. You know, he was the one that was gonna make it, but it didn't go that way. For instance, you had Mike Geronimo. When Mike Geronimo was coming out, the only guy I heard really promote him was a guy called DJ Irv, a.k.a. Irv Gotti. Gotti was more up with him than he was Ja Rule. He was more up on Mike Geronimo than he was X. He was through the roof with Mike Geronimo. That was going to be his guy to kick it all off for him. This is going to be the guy that he wanted to take to the top. It's like, yeah, we finna open a lot of doors with Mike Geronimo. And I think it was John Forte when I first heard him rhyme, and he just laced it, killed it. Mike Geronimo was flowing, his flow was smooth. So Irv found a way to get DMX, Ja Rule, and Mike Geronimo, Jay-Z, on the song with Mike Geronimo, Time to Build. And Time to Build was a street classic. And then he produced Shit's Real, which is like his first single off the album Natural. So the Natural does numbers that nobody in the world thought it could ever do. Like, no one ever foreseen like the numbers that album was gonna do. Like, it was a street classic. You know, it didn't burn down, it didn't sell millions of records, but it put him on the map to where everybody knew who Mike Geronimo was. So, you know, his next project is going to just break the door down. You know, he's mentioned now in the names with the big guys, the big boys. With the Bad Boys, the Diddies, and all them. And his name was up there. So, all of a sudden, you know, Irv was like, look, you know, I know Royal Fam, you know, Royal Flush is your man, and everybody else, you know. I'm like, you know, but I got this contract, man, for you to sign, so you can sign with us, because you never signed with Irv. Irv for the start building Murder Inc., the actual company, and he wants Mike Geronimo to sign. So he told him, like, you know, let me think about it. But the reason why Mike Geronimo didn't sign is because Irv didn't make him feel like he was professional enough for the signature. He didn't make him feel like, I'm comfortable with doing this. You understand what I'm saying? So he just was like, you know, I'm going to just get somebody who's more experienced, you know, that I feel got some experience doing this. So eventually Royal Flush and them got him over with Puff and Carl Thomas and all of these guys and the Hitman. And when these guys came around, Puffy and his crew, they started working with Mike Geronimo and said, you know what, we'll work on your album with you. Then you got Pete Rock, you got Marley Marl. They trying to make an Illmatic album, and none of the songs was resonating with the people because the time had changed. And what I mean the time had changed is just the climate of the songs. Like, what people was into just a year ago had changed. So if you weren't on the boat with this, it wasn't finna fly. So what was cool in 94, 95, 96 wasn't gonna be cool the year later in 97. Everything did a switch. And even though Usual Suspects, it had a lot more bangers on Vendetta, but it didn't take off. His biggest song to date is Nothing Moved But the Money, because that's all people wanted to hear about at the time was money rap. Oh, where the money at? Money this, money that. We need the money rap. We need all this money rap. And once he started talking about money rap and then doing the street song, it just wasn't resonating. And you got Single Life, the R&B. It was kind of, it was like, we gonna make an album to try to chart. You know, that's what they looking for. So Irv did his thing on Usual Suspects or whatever, but he never signed with Irv. So when they was on The Source and they was asking Irv Gotti, you know, because DMX blew up the year after Ja was getting ready to come out, and they were like, what about Mike Geronimo? Because Vendetta like flopped in everybody else's mind state. And then he was they just laughed. You know, and everybody's like, wow, like what was up with that? And everybody saw that, so they looked at Mike Geronimo like, wow. You know, even though he didn't sign with you, he still did that. Because Irv told him, like to his face, like, man, I knew I should have made you sign. And he's like, he had to check Irv in. It's like, look, man, you can't make me do anything. You ain't that kind of dude. Because even though he's smooth, you know, Mike Geronimo's a street dude. He just talks slow and he's real smooth. But the Hitman got involved in the album, and they had total control over the Vendetta album. So for Irv, this is competition once again with something that he was working on, and these people come in and do what they do. And he was always in competition with the Hitman. So anyway, after this, you know, Mike Geronimo go right to the studio. He go right in Irv's office, see Irv Gotti, and was like, look, man, what's up with that? You really want to you really want something with me? And he was like, no, man. He was like, what's up with that funny stuff you did on the video? And Irv already knew about it because he got back to him. They was like, man, you clowned him. And he was smiling like he's a fool, he's a sucker. And then when it happened, then he's apologizing. And so anyway, that blows over. And when he left, Irv is like, I'm going to end that MF's career. You don't know who I am. I'm Gotti. And he went back. Christopher Lorenzo had left the room. He was back to Irv Gotti. Like, Irvin Lorenzo, my fault. So Christopher Lorenzo heard about it and wanted to put hands on Mike Geronimo. You know, and he didn't like the way he approached his brother and tried to punk him. And he felt like, man, we made you. And he's like, okay, let's see what the Hitman do with you now, because your album flopped. And that's what Earth's like, no, don't even bother him. You know, like, let him be, because now he out there. And now don't nobody want to touch him. And they made sure that every time he had like a potential deal on the table, you know, Irv became way bigger than the Hitman. Once X hit, it opened so many doors for Irv that everybody kept saying yes. Def Jam, Universal, they just kept listening to Irv Gotti. Irv kept yelling, people kept listening. They was like, well, he been right so far. You know, let him, maybe he knows something we don't. Let's just shut up and make money off his genius. But he also had power in the industry. and he was keeping people out. And Mike Geronimo just happened to be a victim of one. He had a record deal. He signed a record deal with another company, and they just kept Mike Geronimo on the shelf. And he's like, man, wait, why y'all won't release my album? He was like, oh, we trying, but the majors that we signed to saying that it's not right time to release it. They saying that the album is so-so. So Mike Geronimo was upset and dropped it like independently. He asked for a release. They granted it. And then he went and dropped a mixtape on the streets. And was like, I'm going to release it on the streets myself. And his career has been in limbo ever since. And radios wouldn't play his songs. He couldn't get anywhere to do shows. Because anytime he'd try to do a show, Irv would be like, look, you want Murder Inc. here next week? You want, when we get on to a schedule, you want Murder Inc. here? Yeah, Mike Geronimo can't be here, bro. He can't play here. See, it's a dirty game people play. It's a very dirty game. But when you got power and you got the hits and you got the people, the personnel that the people want to see, these are the type of things that happen. The record business is cutthroat. The majority of the people that want to get in the record business now or want to be rappers, they just lazy. Not because they want to make good music. Not because they want to do something different and change. They just don't want to sit on their butt, not do nothing, smoke weed all day, and make some records and get some money for it. Just yell on the record. They don't care about the art. And once those people start getting deals, it brought the bar down. So people who could rap like Mike Geronimo, people that could rap and cared about the music, the industry didn't care for them anymore. They just like, well, why are we wasting money signing a smart guy to rap? We could just get this dumb guy. He got a new song called Baking Soda. I got baking soda. I got baking soda. And this guy got a brick. I got bricks. Small ones, yellow ones, tall ones. Bricks. Stack them like the three pigs. Bricks. Yeah, something like that. And then they throw it on there with something with the same type of beat. Dong! Like the Undertaker music. You know, it's just one of those things that keep floating around in the industry, and it keeps coming back to bite people. Now, I've never heard of another meeting between Irv and Mike Geronimo again, but all I can tell you is that Mike Geronimo's career was totally derailed by Irv Gotti, and the Hitman didn't want to touch him no more because they were splitting up, and it was just a bad time for everybody. A really bad time. What they have that was great was falling apart. It was completely falling apart. And this is why nobody felt bad when things started going down with Irv Gotti, because he had did people so wrong in the business that when he come back playing the I'm the good guy role, people looked at him like, are you crazy? You Irv Gotti. You the one that caused most of the pain. But I took up too much of y'all time already. It's your boy Carcino. I'm out.